We are kicking off with Paul Heyman, who's back on our screens and once again a part of the OG Bloodline, though there has been speculation as to whether the wise man is still loyal to his tribal chief. After all, Heyman returned not because of Reigns, but to introduce CM Punk, and fans noticed that the red and black Paul wore seemed similar to something worn by Solo Sikoa. Mere days ahead of Survivor Series, there's a lot of speculation that Heyman could betray Roman Reigns in some way, and that's not gone unnoticed by the OTC. Speaking to Sports Illustrated, Reigns admitted that Paul has been incredibly shady and said he's seen the speculation, but right now is recessing back to his family. Reigns also questioned what happened with Heyman during the Hall of Famer's months off TV, adding that there's a lot of things the pair haven't had time to delve into. It was aligning with Heyman in 2020 that helped revitalize Reigns' career as the head of the table, but will we see the last of their alliance this weekend at Survivor Series? Time will tell. For years, the Bloodline drama has been the crown jewel of WWE storytelling, and 4 years after Roman Reigns aligned with Paul Heyman, this saga won't be ending anytime soon. According to WrestleVotes Radio on Backstage Pass, the OG Bloodline featuring Reigns, The Usos, and Sami Zayn will continue to play a central role on TV after Survivor Series. At this weekend's event, the four, alongside CM Punk, will battle Solo Sikoa's Bloodline and Bronson Reed inside the War Games structure in what'll be a must-see match. Despite rumors of disbanding after the PLE, the OG Bloodline will be a focal point well into the winter season, though the report adds that CM Punk won't be a part of the long-term plan. As WWE prepares for a new year, a future on Netflix, and the Royal Rumble, the Bloodline story is primed to keep fans interested in with betrayal, redemption, or domination all possible. Whatever the case, Roman and his allies remain must-watch TV. And what do you think of WWE keeping the Bloodline storyline alive? Are you excited to see where it goes? Let us know below. In January, WWE pulled Brock Lesnar from all plans due to him being tied to Janelle Grant's lawsuit, and there have been only a handful of mentions of him on TV ever since. One name who knows Lesnar better than most is Paul Heyman, who, when asked if he's been in touch with Lesnar this year by Shaq Wrestling, had the following to say. "It's funny when people ask me about that. Brock Lesnar doesn't like to be discussed about anything about his life that is off camera. If I do speak to Brock Lesnar, he would want that to be private. If I don't speak with Brock Lesnar, he would want that to be private. Based on both love and appreciation for the man and a heavy dose of absolute fear of the man, I will neither confirm nor deny my knowledge of even the existence of a species on this planet that carries the name Brock Lesnar." When asked if Lesnar could make a return to WWE, Heyman wasn't too optimistic about the idea, as he explained, "I don't really put any thought into that at this time, because it's not a subject that's going to resolve itself by Survivor Series or by the end of the year, therefore it is not on the radar of things to address." Ironically, some had speculated that Lesnar would be the fifth man for Team OG Bloodline, but that hasn't happened, and the spot has been filled by CM Punk. With so much uncertainty around Lesnar's future, what do you think is next for him? Should he return, or will WWE keep him away for good? Share your thoughts and feedback down below. Next year, John Cena will end his in-ring career with what's sure to be an epic retirement tour, and it's already been confirmed that he'll be part of the Royal Rumble. Now, WWE has confirmed that the 16-time WWE World Champion will be part of Elimination Chamber on March 1st, which they described as Cena's last time ever in Toronto. While Cena will be present at the show, it's unclear if he'll be wrestling at the PLE or have some other on-screen role in front of the Canadian crowd. What matchups are you hoping to see during John Cena's retirement tour? Drop your dream scenarios in the comments and share your thoughts. At Full Gear, Bobby Lashley earned his first pay-per-view win in AEW as he decimated Swerve Strickland with the Hurt Lock, despite a valiant effort by the former AEW World Champion. On Dynamite, MVP said Full Gear was proof that it's foolish to turn down an offer from the Hurt Syndicate, and shared the group's mission statement of wanting titles, money, and power. After taking on a former world champion, the group has proven how dominant they can be, and with Shelton Benjamin in the Continental Classic, the group may be en route to holding gold. The tournament began this week as Benjamin took on Mark Briscoe, and per the rules of the tournament, Lashley and MVP were not allowed at ringside. That didn't stop them trying to intimidate Briscoe during his entrance, and Benjamin's offer of a handshake was just a ruse to try and get the early advantage. The pair immediately picked up the pace and turned this into a physical fight in and out of the ring before a commercial break gave fans watching at home a much-needed breather. Briscoe got the occasional blossom of offense, but most of this match was Benjamin's dominating display as he outmatched Mark in power, speed, agility, and technical skills. The only advantage Briscoe had was being more unconventional, resulting in a fun outing to kick off both this week's Dynamite and the 2024 Continental Classic. Briscoe did a good job selling for Benjamin to make him look like a beast, while still making himself look like a threat during the brief moments he took control. After a solid match, Benjamin scored the win with a power slam to get the first 3 points in the Blue League, giving the Gold Standard his first step to a potential Continental title reign. As for Lashley, it remains to be seen when he'll go for titles of his own, but one has to assume that Jon Moxley's reign as AEW World Champion could be at risk. There was a major error during this match, but not by Benjamin or Briscoe, as during the contest, Tony Schiavone on commentary accidentally referred to Shelton as Lashley. Excalibur was quick to correct him, and Schiavone realized his mistake straight away, while Nigel McGuinness berated him for the mistake that was, hopefully, a slip-up that won't be repeated. In July, Kamille made her official debut for AEW and aligned herself with Mercedes Moné, which at first guaranteed the Brick House the chance to showcase on TV. More recently, there have been cracks in their relationship, with Mercedes criticizing Kamille for failing to take out her enemies, including Chris Statlander ahead of Full Gear. A hand injury suffered by Kamille only frustrated Moné more, but the CEO was able to retain her TBS title against Statlander at AEW's latest pay-per-view. On this week's Dynamite, Moné spoke about Chris giving her one of the hardest matches of her career, and it was poised to fire Kamille, who quit before Moné could dismiss her. It'll be interesting to see where Kamille goes from here, now outside of Moné's shadow, and would you like to see the pair face off, or should Kamille face somebody else first? On next week's Raw, WWE will celebrate 10 years of the New Day, though Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have hardly been on good terms in recent weeks. Fans are hopeful that this celebration will mark the return of Big E, who could potentially smooth over the issues between his friends, but that's just one possible idea. WrestleVotes reports that multiple ideas have been presented for Big E's involvement on the show, as WWE prepares to celebrate the popular faction as a trio. The group will include a live tribute for the group, while WWE's YouTube channel will see a Best Matches compilation, as well as an exclusive sit-down interview with the New Day. Whatever comes on Raw, the success of the New Day can't be denied, and what role would you like to see Big E play during this celebration? Let us know in the comments. More from AEW as the Continental Classic is underway, with the finals set to take place at World's End next month, but there have been some major changes to the tournament. As explained on commentary during Dynamite, in addition to the finals being at World's End, the semifinals will also take place at the pay-per-view. That means it'll be 3 tournament matches at World's End instead of just 1 like last year, and that's not the only major development. The first semifinals match will see the Blue League winner face the Gold League's runner-up, while the other will see the Gold League winner face the runner-up of the Blue League. Last year, the semifinals just saw the top 2 from each league face off with no crossover, meaning this is another major change to this year's tournament. In 2023, it was Eddie Kingston who won it all, including becoming a Triple Crown champion on the night when he defeated Jon Moxley in the finals. Now, Kazuchika Okada will put his Continental title on the line against 11 challengers in the round-robin tournament, and it remains to be seen who will claim the crown this year. At Full Gear, Hangman Adam Page and Jay White delivered an instant classic that saw White get the win, but Page's night was far from over at the pay-per-view. Following Full Gear's main event, Hangman confronted Jon Moxley, which was a trap as Christian Cage emerged and attempted to cash in on the AEW World Champion. That effort was thwarted by White, and on Dynamite, Page came out to the ring and made clear his intentions to regain the AEW World title he last held over 2 years ago. Jay White interrupted and claimed that his recent wins have earned him a match with Jon Moxley, and the pair were then interrupted by the arrival of the Death Riders. The faction attacked both men, but specifically targeted Switchblade, and White was laid out after being choked out by Marina Shafir and taking a briefcase to the head by Pac. Moxley has no shortage of potential challengers for the AEW World title, but with the Death Riders by his side, it may be a long time before we see a title change hands. As everyone cleared out, Claudio Castagnoli arrived to take on Ricochet in the Continental Classic, and Ricochet was able to get in some decent offense at first. That was until the Swissman punished him at ringside, and with a history of matches, it wasn't long before the pair found their groove as opponents and began putting on a show. Not only are the pair exceptional wrestlers, but their skills complemented one another, with Castagnoli's power making him a great base for Ricochet's aerial offense. Ricochet, similarly, was able to sell Castagnoli's big moves in ways others simply can't, and while they didn't do anything fans haven't seen before, what they did do was exceptional. Sometimes all you need is simple ingredients used correctly to produce something special, and on this night, two gifted wrestlers were all that were needed to create magic. As Ricochet refused to be counted out, Castagnoli ended him with a devastating clothesline, earning 3 points in the Gold League. In February, AEW will host its Grand Slam Australia event, but the show that was supposed to be in a massive Suncorp stadium has now been moved to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. This change to the smaller venue comes after reports of underperforming ticket sales, in a move that those running AEW will hardly have wanted to make. In the run-up to WrestleMania 40, it seemed that fans were finally going to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock, a dream match that had been speculated on for years. The only issue is that this year fans wanted to see Cody Rhodes get his rematch with Reigns, and the fan backlash to Cody being left out forced WWE to change course. The Rock-Reigns match was a case of being in the right place at the wrong time, but in his interview with Sports Illustrated, Reigns discussed possibly facing his cousin. Reigns explained that WWE isn't dictated to by the fans, but the company knows how passionate the fan base is, and they want to satisfy fans paying their hard-earned money. Roman spoke of WWE being in an unprecedented time, and with Rock tied to WWE via TKO's board of directors, the OTC is sure a match will happen if that's what the people still want. Whether fans get Reigns versus Rock at WrestleMania 41, that remains to be seen, but the OTC remains confident that a showdown with his cousin will happen only when the time is right. But what do you think? Are you excited at the prospect of Reigns versus The Rock? Did WWE do the right thing by changing course earlier this year? Share your thoughts and feedback below. More from Dynamite, and with the ROH World Championship on the line, Chris Jericho arrived with Big Bill and Brian Keith to take on Tomohiro Ishii. They started with a lengthy exchange of knife hand chops, but kept the pace slow after trading some German suplexes before Jericho took control with an apron DDT. Once the pair got back in the ring, the chops started flying again in a match that wasn't fancy or pretty by any stretch, but instead saw the pair beat the hell out of each other. The crowd popped big when Ishii kicked out at 1 after a Judas effect and a code breaker, but a second Judas effect scored Jericho the win as he retained the ROH World Championship. Jamie Hayter took on Queen Aminata in a match that made both women look like strong competitors, as Aminata has really come into her own in 2024. The Queen gave the former women's champion a tough fight, but in the end it was the Haterade that took Aminata out and gave Jamie the hard-earned victory. Adam Cole was on Dynamite seeking another opportunity to face MJF, as did Kyle O'Reilly, who wanted revenge on the scumbag for injuring his friend Roderick Strong. MJF declined both offers and instead brought up the upcoming Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, and both Kyle and Adam announced themselves for the match. It remains to be seen who else fills out the match, but with a shot at MJF and the Dynamite Diamond Ring up for grabs, this match will be a personal one for Cole and O'Reilly. At Full Gear, the bond between Mariah and Mina Shirakawa ended, as May tried to attack her now former friend, only to be taken out by the Japanese star. On Dynamite, Shirakawa spoke with Renee Paquette and said she'd seen the betrayal coming months ago, all the way back when May turned on Toni Storm. Mina accused May of being selfish and vowed to show her the real Mina, but May would deliver a sneak attack, which, unlike Full Gear, was successful this time around. Standing over the fallen Shirakawa, the AEW Women's World Champion declared that she wanted Mina, and it was confirmed that the two will face for the title at Winter is Coming. What are your thoughts on May versus Shirakawa for the AEW Women's World title at Winter is Coming? Do you think Mariah is ahead of her former best friend and will go to any lengths to end her? Sound off in the comments. In the main event, Brody King and Darby Allin, two longtime rivals, faced off in the Continental Classic, and Allin walked into this match to an O over King in AEW bouts. King was almost taking pity on Allin, who was nursing injuries from Full Gear, but Allin wasn't going to go down easy and unloaded on King with offense that grew more brutal. Coming back from a break, Allin began his usual comeback, but it proved too little too late as King decimated him to win the match and earned 3 points in the Gold League. When Claudio Castagnoli came out poised to attack Allin with a chair, King came back and protected him by standing over the body of his opponent. Castagnoli shook his head and walked away to end the show, as King showed a sense of camaraderie with Darby Allin despite their war in the ring. Now, Ricky Starks hasn't been used in AEW since March of this year, so when it was announced that he'd be appearing for GCW, fans were excited to see him in action. Last weekend, Starks spoke at a GCW event about being frozen out in AEW, and shortly after, it was reported that AEW had pulled Starks from all planned GCW appearances in the future. The initial report stated that remarks made by Effie about Tony Khan's father Shad Khan made the AEW president pull Starks, but now more has come to light about this situation. GCW promoter Brett Lauderdale discussed this matter on the GCW Weekly podcast and pointed out that Starks is an independent contractor and can theoretically work where he wishes. Lauderdale did bring up that so-called independent contractors in WWE doesn't seem very independent and are treated as employees, albeit without many of the benefits. Lauderdale added that he found out about Starks' removal at the same time as the public, adding that he's never spoke to Tony Khan in his entire life. Addressing the reports of Effie's comments playing a role, Lauderdale said that he's heard many things, and without direct word from AEW, it's hard to tell what's real and what's been made up. Lauderdale shared his frustrations about promoting matches only to have to cut them, saying it's not ideal, but is a reality of any time a promotion books a contracted talent for a show. Brett ended by saying he'd love to know if there's something GCW can do to fix things, as it's disappointing for fans to have the Starks involvement they were looking forward to fall apart. Tony Khan doesn't want Starks appearing for GCW, but is in no hurry to book him on AEW TV, as questions continue to circulate on when, and where, fans will see Ricky Starks in the ring again. Thunder Rosa's clash with Harley Cameron on the November 2nd episode of AEW Collision was nothing short of spectacular, but the road to her triumphant return was a grueling battle, both physically and emotionally. In a heartfelt interview on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, Rosa opened up about the immense challenges she faced during her hiatus from the ring. The injury that sidelined her for months wasn't just a physical setback, it became a life-altering struggle. "It was probably the worst year of my life, period," she confessed. "Imagine being able to run and jump, and then it's all taken away. You have to relearn everything, how to walk, how to move. When something that defines you is stripped away, it's devastating." Rosa revealed that she battled suicidal thoughts, compounded by harsh criticism from some fans. "Not only was it the injury, but I felt like certain people didn't give me a chance. Some fans turned on me, saying things like, 'Go kill yourself,' and for once I did indeed wanted to end it all. The negativity was overwhelming." Through it all, Rosa credits her support system for helping her persevere. "I had a strong team, my publicist, my manager, my son, even my former partner. Close friends and a good therapist were instrumental in getting me through," she said. Thunder Rosa discovered a sense of purpose in commentary, which became a vital way to stay connected to wrestling during her time away from the ring. Although stepping back from performing was incredibly difficult, she embraced the opportunity to broadcast and provide analysis, even while battling anxiety and panic attacks. Reflecting on the experience, she admitted there were moments when the emotional toll made her question if she could continue. Despite the struggle, Rosa found the inner strength to persevere, adopting a determined mindset. She resolved to face her challenges head-on, declaring, "I'll come back stronger and nothing will shake me anymore." Thunder Rosa's story is a testament to resilience, shedding light on the battles athletes often face behind the scenes. Her journey reminds us that true strength isn't just about physical recovery, it's about finding light in the darkest of times. What do you think of Thunder Rosa's inspiring return to the ring? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear from you. And we're ending with some TNA news now, as the Hardys are the reigning TNA World Tag Team Champions, and fans can expect to see more of them as the pair have re-signed with the company. This is a huge win for TNA, and only continues the momentum the promotion has been on since the relaunch in January after years as Impact Wrestling. Between the Hardys, the viral appeal of Joe Hendry, and the TNA NXT partnership, 2024 has been a huge year, and fans can expect Matt and Jeff in a TNA ring for a long time to come.